Imagine you're in a crowded room. Someone you respect, or perhaps someone you don't, levels a sharp, stinging insult directly at you. In an instant, your heart rate spikes, your face flushes hot, your brain screams for a comeback, a way to hurt them as much as they just hurt you. In that split second, you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to a shouting match where you both look small, losing the respect of everyone watching. The other path, the Stoic path, leads to a level of psychological dominance so profound that the person who insulted you ends up feeling like they've just thrown a pebble at a mountain. Most people believe that to defend your honor, you must strike back. But the Stoics understood a hidden truth. The moment you lose your temper, you have handed your leash to your enemy. You are no longer the master of your own soul. You are a puppet dancing to the tune of their disrespect. If you want to maintain your authority, you don't need a sharper tongue. You need a stronger mind. The Stoic secret to handling insults isn't about being a doormat or letting people walk over you. It's about realizing that an insult is not a statement about your character, but a confession regarding the speaker's own confusion. When someone calls you a name or questions your competence, they are essentially shouting into the wind. If you don't catch the wind, it simply passes by. This is the false mirror framework. When someone insults you, they are holding up a mirror, but they aren't showing you your reflection. They are showing you their own internal chaos. We often feel that insults diminish us, but psychologically, an insult can only hurt if we secretly agree with it, or if we value the opinion of the person speaking. If a toddler calls you incompetent, you laugh because you know they don't understand the word. Why then do we give the same weight to the words of an angry colleague or a bitter stranger? To a Stoic, anyone who is governed by anger or malice is effectively a child. Their opinion has no more weight than the chirping of a bird. But knowing this is one thing. Executing it when the adrenaline is pumping is another. Here are the 7 methods the Stoics use to remain unshakable. First, you must master the power of the tactical silence. When someone throws a verbal dart at you, your instinct is to fill the air with a defense. Stop. Count to 3. Look them directly in the eyes with a calm, neutral expression. This silence is the most uncomfortable thing an aggressor can experience. By not responding immediately, you are signaling that their words haven't even registered as a threat. You are essentially asking, without saying a word, "Is that all?" This shift in energy transfers the pressure from you back to them. They expected a reaction. By giving them nothing, you make them look foolish for their outburst. Silence is not a sign of having nothing to say. It is a sign that their words are not worth the breath it would take to answer them. But here is what most people get wrong about silence. It isn't a cold shoulder given out of petulance. It is a moment of internal assessment. While you are silent, you are asking yourself, is this true? If it is true, it is not an insult, it is feedback. If it is false, it is a lie. And lies are the problem of the liar, not the person lied about. Second, utilize the "you don't know the half of it" pivot. This was a favorite of Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher. He argued that if someone speaks ill of you, you shouldn't try to defend your virtues. Instead, you should say something like, "He must not know my other faults, or he wouldn't have mentioned only these." This is a masterstroke of psychological warfare. By using self-deprecating humor, you show that your ego is so secure that their insult doesn't even graze the surface. You've taken their weapon and turned it into a joke. It's impossible to bully someone who is already laughing at themselves. It signals to the room that you are the highest status person in the conversation because you are the least offensive. The next method is what actually changes everything. Assess the source. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, would remind himself every morning that he would encounter the arrogant, the ungrateful, and the cruel. He didn't see this as a tragedy. He saw it as a biological fact. If you expect a dog to bark, you aren't offended when it does. Similarly, if you know a person is insecure, miserable, or ill-informed, you should expect them to lash out. The moment you feel offended, you are admitting that you expected them to be better than they are. That is your error in judgment, not theirs. By lowering your expectations of others' behavior, you raise your own level of peace. This leads us to the 4th principle, the view from above. When someone insults you, your world shrinks down to that one moment, that one person, and that one sentence. You are trapped in a microscopic drama. Stoicism teaches us to zoom out. Imagine looking at yourself from the ceiling, then from the clouds, then from space. In the grand timeline of the universe, this insult is a vibration of air that will be forgotten in 10 minutes, and certainly in 10 years. When you widen your perspective, the authority of the insulter vanishes. They are a tiny speck making a tiny noise. Why would you let a speck ruin your day? Fifth, you must understand the concept of cognitive distancing. The Stoics believe that it isn't events that disturb us, but our judgment of them. If someone calls you a failure, those are just sounds. The pain only happens when you tell yourself, it's terrible that he thinks I'm a failure. If you instead tell yourself he has an opinion that doesn't align with reality, the pain never arrives. You are the gatekeeper of your own mind. You have the power to simply not feel insulted. Seneca used to say that a wise man is like a hard rock. The hammers that hit it eventually break, but the rock remains unchanged. This is where people lose control, though. They try to act calm while their insides are boiling. That's not stoicism. That's just repressed anger, and it will eventually leak out as passive aggression or a later explosion. To avoid this, you need the sixth method, radical empathy for the attacker. This sounds counterintuitive, but it is the ultimate tool for maintaining authority. When someone is cruel, they are in pain. Happy, fulfilled people do not go around trying to tear others down. An insult is a symptom of a psychological wound the other person is carrying. When you see a person lashing out, don't see a villain. See a person who is mentally ill-equipped to handle their own emotions. This shifts your internal state from anger to pity. It is impossible to be offended by someone you feel sorry for. Finally, the seventh principle is the most powerful, the revenge of excellence. Marcus Aurelius said the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. If someone is being petty, you be magnanimous. If they are being loud, you be quiet. If they are being dishonest, you be radically truthful. By refusing to meet them at their level, you maintain the high ground. The moment you trade insult for insult, you have become their twin. You have validated their behavior by mirroring it. But when you respond to an insult with calm, focused excellence in your work and your character, you prove their words false without ever having to argue. But here is the deeper truth that most people miss. We aren't really afraid of the insult itself. We are afraid of what the insult says about our standing in the social hierarchy. We fear that if we don't fight back, we will be seen as weak. But look at the people you truly admire. Do they get into Twitter spats? Do they scream back at hecklers? No. The most powerful people in the world operate with a quiet, terrifying composure. They don't have to tell you they have authority. They show it by how little they are affected by the opinions of the common critic. True authority is not the ability to crush your enemies. It is the ability to remain indifferent to their attempts to crush you. When you reach a point where your self-worth is rooted in your own character, things you control, rather than in the praise or blame of others, things you don't control, you become invincible. Stoicism isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about being emotional about the right things. Be passionate about your integrity. Be aggressive about your self-discipline. But be entirely indifferent to the noise of the world. Think about the last time someone insulted you. How much energy did you waste replaying the scene in your head, thinking of the perfect comeback you should have said? That energy is a portion of your life you will never get back. You gave that person a piece of your life for free. A Stoic would never be so wasteful. As you move through the world, remember that you are a fortress. People can throw stones at a fortress all day, but they will never bring it down unless the gate is open from the inside. Your anger, your defensiveness, and your need for approval are the only things that can open that gate. Keep it shut. By choosing to remain unbothered, you aren't just winning an argument. You are practicing the highest form of human freedom. You are deciding that no one, regardless of their status or their vitriol, has the power to change your mood without your consent. That is true authority. That is how you become a person who cannot be shaken. If this perspective shifted something for you, I invite you to reflect on one thing. Who currently holds the leash to your emotions? Is it a boss, a family member, or perhaps a stranger on the internet? Identifying that person is the first step toward cutting the cord. In the comments below, share a time you stayed calm when you wanted to explode. Let's build a library of poise, And if you value this kind of deep-level psychological discipline, consider joining us for more. Until next time, remember, the best revenge is to be nothing like those who seek to harm you. Stay disciplined, stay free.